are watching. Yay, yay, yay. Eventually, tomorrow, the next day, we're going to do this problem. You're not writing this down. Don't write it down. You're just watching me. And again, our job is to break it apart and get the answers out, right? So we have 3 tools to break things apart. We can use square roots. We use X factoring. We can use the half factoring. That's the factoring by parts. But the problem here is this. I don't have 3 parts, so I can't use X factoring. I don't have 4 parts, so I can't use that. And clearly I can't use square roots. I'm stumped. I'm stuck. It's like, wow, how the hell do I break it down, right? And we need another tool. So that's what we're learning today is our next tool. It is probably my favorite tool, but I have to say in 0 and first period, when I mentioned it, I don't know who hurt you, but I feel like you've been traumatized about what we're about to do, which is shocking to me because it's totally my favorite thing to do. So I'm hopeful I can heal you and not have you be traumatized. So this is where we're heading. We need a new tool, and here comes our new tool. Our new tool is to use our super fun friend, polynomial division. Polynomial division. Do not write any of this down yet. We're going to talk about this. I know right now people are like a little trauma right there. So we learned last year a very long, scary way to do polynomial division. Don't write this. Just watch me for a minute. We did this. We went x plus 3, and we put this whole thing in here. And if you remember doing these problems, they took like half a page, right? You went 3, you went into 7, 7x, and then you went blah, 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 and you kept on going, and it was really long. It was really long. And Tobin did it, Costello did it, Weinstein did it, and then they played a trick on you, and it pissed you off, because then they said, ha ha, there's a shortcut. And most of you were really angry at that point, like, why did you not show us that shortcut in the very beginning? And that's because we needed you to understand where the hell this comes from. So we're not going to do the long way. I'm going to trust that all of your teachers have shown it to you. We're going to use the shortcut right off the bat, which is our friend synthetic division, which is our friend synthetic division. And right this minute, you don't remember how to do it. I know that because almost every year I have to remind myself because we don't do it all the time. But once we do it, most of you are going to be like, oh my God, I do love her. She is adorable. So we're going to do synthetic division, okay? Before I do that, though, I need to talk about one thing for my friends who are seniors. Pick it up. All right. My friends who are seniors and going to take pre-calculus college level next year. And my friends who are juniors are going to take an SAT test. So last year, one of my juniors came back after the SAT, and they were really mad. Those are watching me. They were really mad because they said, I got a problem, and you never covered it. You didn't teach us how to do it, and I didn't know how to do it. And they said it was this problem. It looked just like this. And he goes, how the hell do I even know how to do that? And I said, well, do you know how to do this? And he goes, yeah, synthetic division. And I said, it's the same freaking problem, right? So what you guys got to know now that you're heading to the big leagues, right, is that sometimes they're going to write things and ask us things, even especially at the end of the night, that are actually very easy but look scary. This is just saying, divide f of x by this guy. And here's f of x. All it's telling you to do is divide. It just didn't do it in the very nice basic way. It did it in this fancy schmancy way. So if you start to see it, or if I start to write things using my software in a fancy schmancy way, that's okay, because you can do it, right? You can do it. So here we go. Let me get that out of the way, because that's scary. Let's do some synthetic division. Are you guys ready? Here we go. It's easy. You will like it. Here's the deal. In real life, when we do real life division, when we were little kids, and we did, this was back to 4th grade. Life was so good in 4th grade. Here's what we did. We said 5 goes into 1. It doesn't. 5 goes into 13 2 times. And then we went 2 times 5 is 10. And then we subtracted and we brought down the 3. I got to be honest, if you're taught 4th grade, that's a freaking lot of steps for like a 4th grader. right? And then you went 5 times 3. Oh, then you brought down your 7. And then you went 5 into there and you said, oh, that goes in there 5 times or 7 times. I can do math. And you did that. And then you subtracted. Had a lot of adding and multiplying and subtracting. Blah. So what we're going to do with synthetic division is we are going to get rid of all of the subtraction. And we're going to do that by taking care of it in the very first step. So we are going to do some division, but we're not going to use positive 3. We're going to use the opposite of what's in that parentheses. All year I've been telling you what's in the parentheses is naughty. So we're going to do the same thing. And we're going to be using -3, right? We're going to be using -3. What that does is it means that there are ladies. Now stay with me. So stop going and stay with me. Now what we're going to be doing is using -3. That means we don't have any subtracting in this whole problem. Yay. So the first thing that we do is if, oh, I'm going to do it, and you're going to be like, oh, yeah, we're going to deal with only the important parts. And the important parts of this problem are not the x's, it's the coefficients. So let's steal all of those numbers. 7, 26, 20, and 8. And then let's deal with -3 right here. And then do you remember this? Oh, yeah, like right on now you're thinking, oh, yeah. Okay, so let's remember how to do this. Right? So now let's do it. Let's do it on your paper, do it on your whiteboard. I don't care what you do. Let's remember our steps. Man, here's where you blow it. So many kids want to put a 3 right here. Remember what we do? The very first thing, we drag this 7 down. That's our first step. And all we're going to do is multiply and add, and multiply and add, and multiply and add. I love this, because I love multiplying and I love adding. Those are the only 2 things in math I like. So we bring down the 7. Then we multiply. -3 times 7, -21. We multiply, and then we add them up. And then we, did you just say I hate this? That breaks my heart. We multiply. I hear everything. And then we add them up. And then we multiply. And then we add them up. And guess what? The math is over. You're done with the math. You are done with the math. So now let's make this our final answer, right? We want to know what happens if you suck this guy out of this guy. Let's see what we're left with. Remember, we're taking out an x. So our final answer is not going to have x to the 3rd. It's now dropped down to x to the 2nd. Yay. And then it's not going to have x to the 2nd. It's going to have x to the 1st. Yay. And it's not going to have x to the 1st. It's going to have no x's. Yay. He's awesome. But what the hell is that -7? What is he? He's just some random number sitting there. Does anyone remember from last year what he is? He's the remainder. He's the leftover guy. Some of your teachers said this, that you could go remainder -7. We like that. That was, again, 4th grade. Happy days. But what we're going to do, because we're pre-calc, we're going to just turn him in to a little fraction. Nice and easy. And you have just divided that crazy big guy and gotten a much smaller guy, which means tomorrow, now that's a 3-parter, we could rainbow factor him if we wanted to, right? That's where we're heading. Okay, so big deep breath in, either whiteboards or paper, I do not care. Please try this one all on your own. It looks scary, but you know what? Multiply, add, multiply, add, multiply, add. Super easy. Yes. Oh, good question. Exactly right. Because we're going to do +9. And what that does is by switching the sign early, it means I don't have to do subtract the whole way through, right? That's why we get to do add the whole way through, because I switched the sign in the beginning. It takes care of it the whole way through. And in case you were ever curious, if you're not, when I first started teaching, I taught in Santa Ana, California, which is a largely Hispanic school. So like 80% of my students were Hispanic. And I'm telling you this because I had students who had come from Mexico, and they did division differently than we do here. They do it like this. They change the sign, and they do adding the whole way through. It was way smarter and way faster. So there's American division, which is dumb, and there's Latin American division, which is way smarter. Oh, I love that. There is no remainder. And if there's no remainder, we love that. And we're going to talk about that in a hot minute. So Andrew's already given you a little bit of a hot hint here that you should be getting 0 as your remainder on this guy. Nice and careful. I'm telling you, the place where y'all blow it, I love you so much, is that so many people want to put 9 right there. Don't. Drag that 6 down. That's where you start rolling, right? Multiply, add, multiply, add, multiply, add, multiply, add. And I always put a happy face if I get a 0 at the end. Because here's what that means. It means this guy went in here perfectly. It means it's a factor. Like if we said, does 35, is 5 a factor of 35? Yeah, because it goes in perfectly with no remainder. So what I'm asking you now, is this guy a factor? Yeah, because you've got no remainder. And that is awesome. That is awesome. We love that. If I want to know what's left, remember we drop it down 1. X to the third, x to the second, x to the first, 8. So this would actually be our final answer. And we'll do tomorrow. Now, look at this. It's a little 4-parter. So I could probably cut it in half and get the rest of the answers. That would be one answer. 9 would go into this guy perfectly, and I could get my other answers as well. You feeling it? Okay. We're going to do one that's a little bit tricky. Oh, look at this guy. You're like, this doesn't look tricky. Here's what. Don't know if you noticed this on this. We need them to be in the right order. This will only work if they're in the right order. Watch this. I'm going to put a little 1 here before we do this. That's a 4. That's a 3. That's a 2. That's a 1. That's naked. That's awesome. That works. That's what we want. But look at this dude here. Look what happened. I have a 4, a 3, a 1, and a naked. Uh-oh, I'm missing something. I am missing the square guy. And I'm not allowed to have no space. So you know what I need to do? I need to shove in an A to the second power. But you know how many of them I have? I have 0 of them. I have 0 of them. So what we're really going to do is, I'm going to put a 1 there, A to the 4th minus 4, A to the 3rd, plus 0, A to the 2nds, minus 1, A to the 1st, sorry, that's plus, minus 4. You just got to have a placeholder, because otherwise it'll all collapse, right? So you got to have a placeholder. So if you're ever missing one, before you start a problem, you're going to really quickly, look at this, you're going to double check 3, 2, 1, you're good. So I'm going to go ahead and go back to that. Give this one a try. You're going to get a cool answer, a weird answer. See how you do. It is a factor though. So you should get 0 at the end. But see if you can write your answer, your final answer, in a cool way. I'm drinking on camera. Your hell, my throat's swallowing. I love these. 1, -4, 0. Don't forget him. -4. And don't forget, we flip the sign on that one because that lets me not have to do any freaking subtraction, right? Multiply, add, multiply, add, multiply, add. Drop this guy down. I'm telling you, if you put that 4 there, you're cooked the whole way through. 4 times 1 is 4. 0. 4 times 0 is 0. 0. 4 times 0, another 0. 1, 4, 0. Happy face. Yay. I'm going to tell you 2 ways you can write your answer. Both are correct. One is more sophisticated. One is like, hey, you're a big kid now. One is like, not so much. So watch what I can do. I can go 1, a to the 3rd, plus 0, a squared, plus 0, a, plus 1. That is okay. That is okay. But you know what's cooler looking? A to the 3rd plus 1. I just got rid of the zeros. It would be wrong if you did the other guy. It wouldn't be. I would be okay with it. Do I like that better? I do. I do. A big part of your homework is not all of this stuff. All I'm going to ask you is this question right here. Is it a factor? Yes or no? So your answer, I'm going to walk around. I would like you to write a big yes or a big no on your board. How do you figure it out? You see what your remainder is. If your remainder is 0, happy face, yes. If your remainder is 7, sad face, no. So is it a factor? Is it a factor? You're doing it so I can see an answer. Writing a big giant yes or no. Watch, make sure you go, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm okay. I'm okay, watch that. I'm fine. I don't know who broke you. Let's see if that division is our friend. Fire. Fire. Oh my gosh. Maybe 6. Adam. I did that too. And now -6 makes -9. There you go. Factor. Yep. Hey, the answer is yes. Yeah? Yeah? Does anyone need me to do it? Are we feeling it? We got a yes? Yeah? Oh, nice. It's nice. Okay. So I have 2 last things to tell you. And if you haven't listened at all today, I'm so glad that Brenda's back awake. Because this is the last part that is new. None of this is new, but this next part is new. So Mrs. Dill used to teach pre-calculus for like 10 years, 8 years, and she was kind enough to let me take them. So yay, I like having them. But I'm not gonna lie, Mrs. Dill is the smartest teacher on campus, bar none. She's bar none. She's got a master's degree in mathematics, and that wasn't enough. She went back and got her law degree as well. So wow, she's wicked smart and very sweet. She would say there's an easier way to do this problem. And here's what she would say. She would say, if this is a factor, this is what it means. It means the number 1, right? Because we suck our answer out. If I plugged it in here and this whole thing equals 0, it's a factor. If it equals anything other than 0, it's not a factor. And she would say plugging in that number 1 is easier. So let's test Mrs. Dill's theory. And you don't have to do this, you can just watch me on this one. She says, just plug in 1 and see what you get. If you get 0, it went in perfect. If you don't get 0, it's not a factor. So here I go. Plug it in 1, plug it in 1, plug it in 1, plug it in 1. I get 1, take away 4, take away 3, take away 3, plus 9. I'm going to say 1 plus 9 is 10. And I'm going to say that is -10. Yay, it's a factor. Was it faster? I don't know. It's about the same to me. Maybe it's faster, but here's my problem with her method. Not that it's wrong. If I had to do it on this one, that would be a nightmare, because what number would I be plugging in? -8. Who the hell wants to plug -8 to the 3rd power times 13? No one. I think synthetic division on this one would be faster. And you're thinking, why are you telling us this? Because for 2 reasons. One is, if you're stumped, if you get to the test and you panic and you forget how to do this, could you plug this in and see if it equals 0? Absolutely. It will always work. Is it the fastest? I don't know. But it also leads us to a new problem that you've never seen before that is on your test. So if you've taken no notes, write this down. I'm going to be quiet for a minute because this is literally off your test. So there were 2 other teachers that taught pre-calc last year, and we were talking about how our students did on this test, and they said, oh, they all missed this problem. And I thought, well, I'm going to make sure you don't, because I'm going to teach it very specifically.
Wait, what do you do with that?
I'm going to walk you through it. This is one of those problems that looks much harder than it is, but you have to know you have to understand the vocabulary here, right? So when I show you how to do it, you're going to be like, oh my God, that is so easy. But you would miss it if you just looked at it. But I'm telling you, you all have the skills to do this super easy. So take a minute, write it out, and then let's walk through it. I don't want to rush anybody. Octa's not right now. You wrote this?
I could get it.
Did you write it down?
Yeah, I don't. So I gotta figure it out.
Okay, so here's what this is asking. You guys ready? Colin's ready. It seems very scary. It's like, what the hell? I got to solve for k that makes this a factor of this. Here's what it's saying. It's saying if you take the number 2, right? I'm sucking it out. And if you plug it in, you better get 0. That's all it's telling you to do. It's telling you to take the number 2 and make this problem, make it equal 0. Because you are making it into a factor. So you needed to understand what I have to do with here. I have to take them out. And you have to understand that factor means equal 0. So literally, that's all we're going to do. We're going to take that problem, shove in little 2's, and then make it equal 0. So let's do that together. Are you ready? The first thing I'm going to do is this. I'm going to write this guy red because at the very end, he's going to be what I need to get by himself, but not for a hot minute. The next thing I'm going to ask you guys to do is watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and write it like this. I'm going to just give myself a little space. You don't have to do this. Some of you totally understand what you're doing here, but I'm going to do this for you so you know what the hell I'm doing. You're not like, Miss T, you are, it's a mystery what you did. I'm stopping, I'm looking. Is everyone cool what I did? I gave myself a space, right? What am I putting in that little space? Oh, you got X. So I popped it out. What am I going to put in? It's like 2. I'm going to put in 2 because it should work. It should equal 0. So could you please all now plug in the 2, right? So here we go. I'm going to make it really pretty and purple. I'm going to put a 2 in here. 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 I'm going to be really honest. That's an Algebra 1 problem. It looks crazy scary, but it's not. So let's just clean it up a little bit. And you know what? I'm going to start at the back because I'm lazy and I want to start with easy numbers. So here we go. We got the 0. Yay, he's there. We got a 7. Yay, he's there. What is 5 times negative? 5 times 2? Negative 10. Thank you so much. Yay. Ooh, let's clean that guy up. What is 2 times 2? 4, but let's call it 4K. Are you with me? Because I got that little K there. Ooh, let's clean this guy up. What is, be careful, don't say 6. What is 2 times 2 times 2? 8 times negative 3. 8 times negative 3. Thank you so much. God, you left me hanging there, man. Negative 24. Oh, I'm going to make that purple so it's pretty. And finally, let's be really careful here. 2 times 2, times 2, times 2. Here's, and then times 2 one more time. 32. There we go. So here's what I would like. I would like you to tell me, what is 32 take away 24? That's my girl. 8 plus 4K. And what is negative 10 and 7? Negative 3 equals 0. We're almost home. What is 8 and negative 3? 5. 4K plus 5 equals 0. Finish it. Get K by itself. Is it a hard problem? No. Did it look scary? Absolutely. This whole K factor, big long thing. It's not. Plug in the number, set it equal to 0. You are good to go. You are good to go. If you at the end got negative 5 over 4, you are fire. You're fire, right? So sometimes they look scary, but they're not. So that's it for me today. I'm going to show you what you're doing tonight, and I'm checking off your pink worksheet. And if you didn't do it right now.